Blind billionaire, sunglasses, mogul marries young woman, but finds true love. Nathaniel Cole had everything, or so the world believed. At 43, he was a billionaire, a tycoon whose luxury sunglasses empire stretched across continents. His name was etched on skyscrapers, whispered in boardrooms, and splashed across magazines. Yet Nathaniel hadn't seen a sunset, a storm, or even his own reflection in over a decade. An accident at 32 had robbed him of his sight, and slowly, it felt, of something even greater, his hope. Wealth could buy planes, islands, and even admiration, but it could not buy back the simple, vibrant pictures life used to paint for him. On the outside, Nathaniel adapted. His tailored suits were always flawless, his movements practiced, his voice calm. But inside, a quiet loneliness gnawed at him. He trusted few and loved no one. It was safer that way, he told himself. Vision wasn't just seeing the world, it was trusting it. And trust had become a dangerous luxury. One autumn evening, on a whim he couldn't quite explain, Nathaniel agreed to attend a charity auction hosted by his foundation. His assistant, Maria, had insisted for weeks. "It's not about business, Nathaniel," she said. "It's about heart. You need heart again." He'd smiled politely, but that night, he let her guide him into a grand hall alive with music, laughter, and life. Somewhere between the clink of champagne glasses and the flutter of charity bids, he heard a voice, light, sincere, and a little bit awkward. Excuse me," she said, brushing accidentally against his shoulder. "I think I dropped my bidding card." Nathaniel turned instinctively toward her. "Need some help?" he offered. "Maybe. Unless you have X-ray vision," she chuckled. That laughter, it wasn't the polished kind he was used to. It was genuine. Without thinking, he knelt carefully, feeling along the floor. His fingers brushed hers, and she gasped softly. "Oh, you're blind?" "Yeah," Nathaniel said lightly, standing back up. Instead of an apology, she said something that made him freeze. "That must make bidding very exciting." He laughed, really laughed, the sound rusty from disuse. "It does. High stakes." "I'm Claire," she said. And that was how it began, not with grandeur, but with a dropped card and a smile. Over the next weeks, Claire and Nathaniel kept meeting. A coffee here, a stroll in a park there. Claire was unlike anyone he'd ever known. She was 26, an art teacher who spent her weekends painting murals in children's hospitals. She asked questions he wasn't used to, about what he felt rather than what he owned. She spoke about color the way poets spoke about dreams. She didn't seem impressed by his empire. She was impressed by his stories, his laughter, his perseverance. Nathaniel, for the first time in years, found himself looking forward to mornings. His world, once painted in shades of silence and caution, felt brighter. Even without sight, Claire taught him to see in ways he had forgotten. The warmth of the sun on his skin, the weight of a breeze, the music of a child's laughter. But whispers grew around them. His board members frowned. The tabloids speculated. What was a billionaire doing with a young woman from the other side of the city? Was she after his money? His name? His empire? Nathaniel wrestled with it silently. He had built walls so high that even love struggled to climb them. Could he trust her? Was this real? Then came a day everything changed. One evening, Nathaniel overheard a conversation he wasn't supposed to. He had arrived early at Claire's tiny apartment. Through the half-open window, he heard her on the phone with a friend. "No, I don't care about his money," Claire said, her voice fierce and trembling. "He makes me feel seen. I've never felt that before. It's not about what he can give me. It's about what he is. He's light, even in the dark." Nathaniel felt his knees weaken. He leaned against the doorframe, blinking back, something suspiciously close to tears. Light, even in the dark. That night, he proposed, not with diamonds or grandeur, but with a simple question, his voice trembling. "Claire," he whispered, holding her hands tightly. "Will you keep painting the world for me? Every day?" She said yes. The headline hit papers the next morning. Blind billionaire, sunglasses, mogul marries young woman, but finds true love, accompanied by a photo of them at the courthouse. her hand proudly in his smile wider than it had been in years. But the story behind the headline was even more beautiful. After the wedding, Nathaniel and Claire launched a new foundation together, Vision Beyond Sight, dedicated to helping blind and visually impaired individuals lead independent, creative lives. Claire led art workshops where students painted with textures and sounds. Nathaniel, once imprisoned by fear, stood proudly beside her at every event, speaking of hope, resilience, and the unseen beauty within us all. One afternoon, a boy approached Nathaniel at one of their events. He was 8, with thick glasses and a shy smile. "Mr. Cole," he said, tugging Nathaniel's sleeve, "how can you see colors if you're blind?" Nathaniel knelt to his level and smiled. "Because," he said, "sometimes the most important colors aren't the ones you see. They're the ones you feel." Here, he tapped the boy's chest gently, and here, he added, tapping his own heart. The boy grinned, throwing his arms around Nathaniel's neck. Claire watched from across the room, tears in her eyes. In the end, it wasn't about wealth or status or even sight. It was about finding someone who could see the soul behind the scars, the dreams behind the doubts. Someone who believed in painting the unseen beauty back into the world. Nathaniel had lost his eyes to darkness. But with Claire, he had found a vision brighter than any he'd ever known. And so, the blind billionaire and the young woman lived, not just happily ever after, but purposefully ever after, lighting a path for others to follow. Their love wasn't the fairy tale kind that newspapers love to sensationalize. It was the quieter, truer kind, built on trust, kindness, laughter, and the unseen magic that binds souls together when everything else fades away. And in the end, the world didn't remember them for their wealth, or their fame, or even their improbable meeting. They remembered them for something far rarer. A love that saw, a love that stayed, a love that changed everything.